What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Hope you are doing well. In our last section, we covered post likes on both the client and server side. In this video, we're going to be getting started with our comments implementation. So this is what it's going to look like. This is the amazing dark mode interface, and this is what it will look like in the regular light interface. So we're going to have just a list of comments here with some user data associated with the comment, and then we are going to have this comment view down at the bottom. So our users will be able to add comments here, and we'll have this sort of beautiful interface, just like we see in Instagram. So let's go ahead and just get started with what we need to do to implement this, guys. So we're going to start by building out this comment UI. So we're going to go into our core folder and create a new folder, and it's going to be called comments. And I believe we are going to add it right there. And we're going to make three other folders rather for this. Actually, I think it needs to be 4. So we're going to make 4 groups. And it's going to be the whole shebang, guys. We're going to have our model folder for our comments. Oops, spelled that wrong. So we're going to have our model folder. And then we are going to have our views, view models, and our service as well. So for a big feature like this is going to be pretty standard. We're going to have a data model, we're going to have some views, some view models, and also our service for uploading and downloading the comments from our backend. So we're going to start with our view, guys. So we're going to make 2 files here. It's going to be a Swift UI view, and this one's going to be called comments view. And we're going to make another one called comment cell. So let's just go ahead and start by building out our comment cell, and then we'll go over what we need to do to drop this into our main comments view, and then go over all of the input view stuff, and then later on how to ultimately present that from a post by clicking on that comment button. So in our comment cell, guys, we are going to have this pretty simple HStack. So this shouldn't take too long. So let's just go and make an HStack, and it's going to be our circular profile image view to start with a user and a size. And here we can just say user.mockUsers 0 or something. And we're going to say size is extra small. And then we're going to have a VStack, and we're going to have an alignment of leading on it and a spacing of 4. And then within that, guys, we're going to have an HStack for this first part because we need the user name and then the timestamp that the comment was made. So we're going to say HStack spacing is going to be 2. And then we're going to say text. And let me just add like a user object up here so we don't have to keep typing this out. So I'm going to say private var user, which is a user, return user.mockUsers 0. And we'll replace this with the actual user that's associated with the comment in a little bit. So here we can just replace this with user. And here we're going to say user.username, .font weight, .semi-bold. And then underneath that, next to that, we're going to say text. We could say like 6 days. Foreground color is gray. And that then we are going to, below that HStack, create a text for our comment text. How does the back of my car look? And we are going to give that VStack a font of .caption. And then we're going to give the whole HStack a horizontal padding, guys. And let's just go ahead and resume our preview and see how this looks. And then we'll be able to go and start building out the main view and drop in some of these cells here. So that looks pretty good to me, right? So now what we can do is go to our comments view, and we're going to start building this guy out. So guys, you'll notice that at the top we have like a text label for our comments. We don't have to build out this drag indicator. We actually get that for free when we go over how to present this, but we'll implement that a little later. So I want us to start this off with just creating a VStack. We're going to say text comments. .font is .subheadline. .font weight is .semi-bold. And we're going to give this a padding on the top edge of 24 pixels. Then we're going to create a divider. So that looks good. And then next up, we are just going to create our lazy VStack and scrollable list of comments here. So guys, we're going to go and create a scroll view. Within that is going to be a lazy VStack. Within that is going to be a for each loop. Should be pretty standard stuff by now. And let's make it like maybe 15 comments. ID is \self for now. Comment in. And we are just going to create our comment cell. Okay. So I believe we do need to add a spacer to this guy to get it over to the edge. So we're probably going to want to do that on our comment cell, right? So let's go ahead and see where we can add that. So on this whole H stack, let's just go ahead and add a spacer, guys. And then go back to our comments view and see how that looks. Perfect. Okay, so now we're definitely going to want to adjust the spacing here a little bit. So on our lazy VStack, guys, let's just go ahead and add a spacing of maybe 24 pixels. And you guys will notice that's going to space our comments out really nicely there. And then maybe let's give it some padding on the top edge as well. So on this whole scroll view, let's just go ahead and say .padding .top. Oops, we don't need those extra parentheses. All right, so that's going to give it some nice padding on the top edge. And now, guys, we need to create this custom input view that we see down here. So it's going to have like the user's profile image and then this nice like rounded capsule shaped custom input view that we can type stuff into. So let's go ahead and get started with that now. So we're going to create another divider after this. As you can see here, we have a divider and now it's showing up there nicely. And then we're going to create an H stack, guys. And we're going to make the spacing 12 pixels here. And we're going to add our circular profile image view. And here we need a user. So we can just say user.mockUsers0. Size is going to be extra small. Perfect. And then we're going to get started with this custom input view. So it's pretty much just going to be a text field, but we're also going to make it a Z stack as well, so we can add this like action button there. So let's go ahead and start that out. We're going to say Z stack alignment is .trailing. And this is just so, once again, guys, we can get that sort of button just overlaid on top of this text field. So then we're going to create our text field. Placeholder is going to be add a comment. And now we need our text, and we need to create this text property. So we're going to say at state private var comment text equals a blank string and pass that in. And our axis here is going to be .vertical, guys. And next up, guys, we are going to apply an overlay. So we're going to say .overlay, and this is going to be to get that nice border around our text field. So we just need to create a capsule here and say .stroke. And it's going to be content and line width here. And it's going to be color .system gray 5, and the line width is going to be 1. So you guys are going to notice that's going to give us a border, but we definitely need some padding here, right? And we're also going to want to apply a font here of maybe .footnote. to make our text field text like nice and small and compact. And you guys can play around with that as you want or as you wish. Some of you might like bigger text. I personally like smaller text. But anyway, let's keep going. Let's go ahead and add our button now to see what that looks like. So on this Z stack after the text field here, guys, we're going to go ahead and add a button, and it's going to be, the title is going to be post. And let's see. Oh, sorry. We want action and label. Action and label. So the label is just going to be text post. Dot font is dot sub headline. Dot font weight is dot semi bold. Dot foreground color is color dot system blue. So you guys will see that showing up there nicely. And then guys, let's go ahead and give this button a horizontal padding. Padding of dot horizontal. And you guys are going to notice that brings it over to the left here, but it's also going to make it so that our text doesn't bleed into it. Well, it is. Oh yeah, that's because it's a Z stack. We'll fix that in a second. What I want us to do is give this text field itself some padding. So here we could go right after we say dot font footnote and say dot padding. And I personally think that that's a little big, so I went ahead and did 12 pixels. I think that looks a little bit better. And like next, guys, we have to fix this problem here of our text bleeding over into the post button like that, right? So what we can do there is just give it some trailing padding after that. And you can do like 40 pixels. And you guys will notice now that if I start to type, it runs out of room right there and goes to a new line. And everything looks really good right there, right? So that's looking great. And then, guys, we just need to apply some padding to the overall H stack here, right? On the, let's see. Let's say maybe like dot padding and give that 12 pixels of padding as well. So that just gives it some space on the top, the bottom, and the leading edges. That looks good. If you guys want a little bit more padding, you could just use the default value, which I think is 16, and that looks good there as well. So that's like pretty solid for our comments view right now, guys. And next up, what we can do is go over how we can actually present this from our feed view. So it looks like this, but this is looking pretty good to me. So inside of our feed view, guys, let's wrap this video up with our comment view presentation. So our feed view doesn't have a whole lot going on, which is good. So we can just make a state private var here. Show comments equals false. And then on our scroll view, we could say, let's actually do it like right after our navigation bar stuff. We can say dot sheet is presented, $ show comments. Content is going to be comment view. Actually, I think we need to do this from the feed cell. That's my bad, guys, because that's where the button handler is. If you want to do it from the feed view, you could. You would just have to pass this property along as a binding to our feed cell, which we don't really need to do, which is really nice with SwiftUI, right? We can present a sheet from any view that we have, even if it's a child view. So let's go ahead and just copy and paste what we wrote inside of our feed cell there and add that sheet over here. Feed cell, add it on our VStack, show comments. And then, guys, let's see if that works. So we hit that, and we actually need to toggle that show comments property in order for this to work. So this never changes. So let's see. Here is where we want to do that. We are going to say show comments.toggle. And now if we hit this guy, our comments show up beautifully there, right? So that's looking incredible. Next up, guys, the last thing we have to do is add our presentation drag indicator, and we get that for free when we use the Sheet API with SwiftUI, which is really nice. So we can say .drag indicator, presentation drag indicator, and it's going to ask us for a visibility mode. We're just going to say .visible. And you guys are going to notice that now when I present my comment sheet, that shows up at the top there. And it just indicates to the user guys that they can drag this view. And it's just a nice addition to your UI to enhance your user experience, right? The user can just drag this view to dismiss it, which is really nice. So let's go ahead and run our code and just see what this looks like in our application with our feed posts. And then what we're going to do in the next video, guys, is go over how to start uploading comments to Firestore. So I'm going to go ahead and hit comment, and we notice that that looks really good. Let's see what it looks like when my this guy shows up. You guys notice that it automatically adjusts the height of the scroll view. When that shows, I can start typing in here, and it will expand onto a new line, and that is just overall looking really, really good. So that's going to wrap it up for this one, guys. In the next one, we're going to get into how to start uploading comments and displaying them in the comments view. Thanks for watching. Peace.